Good afternoon, and I want to welcome everyone to the July 2026 work session for the Carroll County Board of Education this afternoon. And to begin with, I want to welcome all of our visitors. Got several great visitors here. Welcome, and if you would all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much. We'll dive right in. We'll start with student achievement this afternoon with Miss Jennifer Shirley, Dr. Jennifer Shirley.
Good evening, Mr. Chair and board members. The Teaching and Learning Department has been busy preparing for the upcoming year. Tonight, I'd like to highlight three of our progress in three of our key areas. First is under assessment. In our reflection of the year with teachers and administrators, we have decided to significantly reduce the time spent in assessment when possible. Here are some changes. In K2, we have cut SACS and phonics assessments in half. For literacy, in compliance with the Georgia Early Literacy Act, we are adopting a new state platform called Amira. This will replace a time-consuming one-on-one testing that has to happen right now to a condensed 20-minute compact testing online, which will give our teachers back time in the classroom. That this year was about a month-long process to get those assessments done. In grades 3 through 8 mathematics, we are transitioning exclusively to state beacon assessment, which will replace STAR Math. Currently, we had been running those at the same time, so we're going to discontinue STAR Math, and that will reduce our testing from 7 administrations to just 3 per year in math. We're also eliminating most district common assessments in non-tested areas. The only exception are a few courses in high school that build up to EOC. Everything else that's non-tested does not, will not currently have a district common assessment. My second highlight is around social emotional wellness. This summer we've held 3 Capturing Kids' Hearts training sessions, which equips our teachers to with practical relationship-centered strategies to build trust. By ensuring every student feels safe, valued, and connected, we are creating environments where they not only thrive academically but also emotionally. And my final update is around future-focused expectations, and we look at future-focused expectations from kindergarten through 12th grade, and we want to make sure that every student is enrolled, enlisted, employed, and engaged in their community. One of the big changes this year is in middle school. In our 6th grade, we'll focus around financial literacy. Our 7th grade, they do the U Science, so we're going to make that focused around career readiness. And 8th grade, we're going to make a change to have students be prepared for high school. So we're going to really spend time talking about the programs in high school, JORTC, AP, dual enrollment, all the things that they can be involved in high school. And not only are we going to spend time with students, we're going to spend time with parents so that when it comes time to enrollment for high school, our students and our parents really know what the options are in high school. So we're very excited about those changes from Future Focused. And as we continue to strengthen our opportunities for students, we're also trying to build stronger connection with our workforce. So tonight, I've invited Miss Megan Day, the assistant principal at Villa Rica High School, and Miss Letitia Drummond, CTAE director, to share some exciting partnerships and innovations that are helping our schools connect with the workforce opportunities for students.
Thank you, Ms. Shirley. Good evening, everyone. Board Chairman Miller, board members, and Superintendent Ainsworth. Thank you for extending the invitation for me to speak about my experience attending the Future Focus industry tours. As a former Carroll County School student, having served as a teacher and now assistant principal, I've appreciated the opportunity to partner with community stakeholders and business partners to enrich the learning experiences and exposure to career opportunities for our students. It's truly been a joy and full circle moment, not a circus, full circle moment to see our students while attending these tours thriving and working in our communities. During the course of the past school year, our principals, assistant principals, and counselors attended 2 industry tours each. Building upon our partnerships, these industry tours will continue into the upcoming school year. Attending the Future Focus industry tours was a valuable experience that reinforce the importance of strong connections between our local schools and business community. Visiting local businesses provided insight into the career opportunities available to our students and highlighted the skills employers value most. One of the most rewarding moments was seeing some of my former students working, succeeding, and thriving in their careers throughout our community. It was inspiring to witness their growth and to see the positive impact that education, mentorship, and community support have had on their lives. This experience reminded me that the meaningful partnerships between schools and local businesses are essential. By working together, we can better prepare students for life after graduation, provide authentic learning experiences, and create pathways that lead to successful futures while strengthening our local workforce and community. Thank you for your time and all that you do to support our students, families, and educators in our district. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. To follow Ms. Day's insightful experience that she just shared, we also recognize the importance of ensuring that our students receive instruction and hands-on training that truly reflect current industry practices. This means that our CTAE teachers must remain informed, up-to-date, and connected to the evolving workforce. The most effective way to achieve this is by allowing our educators to see these practices firsthand. This year, our CTAE teachers will participate in industry-aligned tours that directly relate to the programs that they teach. This experience will not only expose teachers to real-time workforce expectations, but it will also strengthen their relationships with the local employers who are essential partners to every program that we offer. In addition, each CTAE teacher will be encouraged to complete one workforce externship annually as part of their professional development. This externship model ensures that our educators bring back fresh insight, updated skills, and stronger connections that directly benefit our students. So why do workforce externships really matter? Well, they provide industry alignment, teacher development. The externships are going to enhance their awareness of current industry practices. And it also is going to give stronger pathways. It's going to, by building relationships with local employers, teachers are actually able to help open doors for students via internships, apprenticeships, and job placements upon graduation, or even work-based learning. It'll also enhance our community partnerships by strengthening collaboration between school and regional industries, reinforcing our district's role in supporting local economic growth and workforce readiness. So workforce externships are more than just professional development. They are strategic investments in instructional quality, student opportunities, and regional prosperity. By supporting this initiative, we ensure that our CTAE programs remain relevant and competitive and connected to the needs of the West Georgia region. Thank you for letting me share our initiative with you.
All right.
Any questions or any comments from the board before we go on?
I'd like to comment. I think it's a wonderful idea for our teachers to get out in the community and see what's actually going on. Workforce has changed, as you know, an awful lot in the last even 5 years, but in the last 20 years, it's really changed a lot. So thank you for your hard work and research.
And thank you for that comment. And to attest to that, your time frame, many of our teachers have been in the classroom and out of industry in that time. So what was relevant when they were in industry has changed, and we need to make sure that's what we're offering our students. Thank you so much.
Anything else?
I would like to know this. Will they do the visiting during the school day, or how will that work?
On our professional learning days.
Oh, okay.
And then the externships is a piece, it's a requirement in CTAE, and they can either do that in post-planning or during the summer. We can get those done.
Very good.
That's tremendous.
Now, I have a question. Are we the only one doing that, or some other school systems doing that?
I think there are some other school systems that are doing it, the externship.
Okay, good.
as I sit here, I think about the connect theme. And everything that y'all are saying to me really gears back to that. I mean, you're talking earlier about, okay, you're taking away testing on certain things, and that to me tells me there's maybe some redundancy. That's going to develop more instruction time, which connects to the student, I would think. And then I got to tell you, what was hitting me was in the community. One of our charges and one of our thoughts this year is connecting to the community. And I think what's going on with our CTE programs and our students throughout, when you're out there in the community, it's doing something for the students. But let me tell you, it's also doing something for those business owners, and it's doing something for those people in the community where they see and they understand the story that we're trying to tell about Carroll County Schools. So I think it goes hand in hand. And that really, and I didn't even know what the externship term was, but I'm going to study up on that. I like that. So really good stuff. Keep it up. And you're right. What Sandra said about things changing is how we adapt to these changes is how we'll have the kids ready to go. So for me, it's really, really good stuff.
Thank you.
All right, tonight I have an informational item that serves as an annual literacy update. As required by the Georgia Early Literacy Act, school districts must annually certify their instructional materials and programs used in K-3 literacy instruction. I'm pleased to report for the third consecutive year, Carroll County Schools will continue to use the same high-quality literacy instructional programs. The state rubric is in the e-board for your review, and our annual certification will be submitted to the Georgia Department of Education by August 1st deadline. Mr. Miller, I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have about literacy update.
Questions from the board?
Okay. I have
Very good.
several things for the consent agenda tonight. Carroll County Schools continues its long-standing partnership with Tanner Willowbrook and has provided Tanner Willowbrook has provided behavioral and mental health support for students and staff since 2014. This is at no cost to the school district, and we recommend this MOU to be placed on the consent agenda for Thursday night. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions about Willowbrook.
Any questions? Or if not, is everybody good with submitting that on the consent agenda for Thursday? Very good.
The next MOU that I have is for 12 for Life. Carroll County Schools is proud to serve as the primary educational partner for Southwire for the 12 for Life program. This innovative partnership provides students with the opportunity to earn a high school diploma while gaining valuable workforce experience and developing career-ready skills. In addition to Carroll County Schools, the program also includes our secondary partners, which are Bremen City, Carrollton City, Heard County, and Haralson County. We recommend that this MOU be placed on the consent agenda for Thursday night, and again, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Everybody good with re-upping with 12 for Life like always? We'll consider that on the consent agenda.
Okay, and then also tonight I have an MOU and an MOA from West Georgia Regional Library. The first one is to provide extension services, and the second one is to provide access to the play card for our students in grades 9 through 12, which gives them access to the PINE system. These are annual MOUs that are mutually beneficial. Both are attached in e-board, and we would recommend that both of these be placed on the consent agenda for Thursday night. And again, I'd be glad to answer any questions.
So that just, I mean, that basically gives our students 9 through 12 access to all that they offer. Okay, good deal. Anybody got any issue with that? If not, we'll have that on the consent agenda. Very good.
Okay. That is all I have tonight, Mr. Miller.
Okay, thank you very much. Well, with that, we will move down to stakeholder engagement by our superintendent, Dr. Jessica Ainsworth.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller and members of the board, the first item under stakeholder engagement is our leadership kickoff update. And with that, I'd like to turn over to Charity Aaron, our Executive Director of Partnerships and Engagement, and she'll provide an update. I'll turn it over to her.
Thank you, Dr. Ainsworth. I'm so excited to share with you guys about Leadership Kickoff. So a year ago, we started the planning process, and we had a wonderful brainstorming session to try to choose a theme that really aligned up to our district's vision, mission, and purpose. And through that brainstorming session with the cabinet level administration, Delaney was the one that came up with the Connect theme. And since that time, we have spent hours and a lot of planning and come up with so many ways that we can share the Connect theme through specifically genuine care and providing great service. So for some of you, you were able to see this in action at Leadership Kickoff, but we were really strategic in how we selected our guest speakers. We wanted them to be connected to our school system. So they were alumni, they were business partners, they were parents and family members of students in our school system. And I think that our principals really appreciated that connection. We also shared highlights of different students from all 5 clusters. They shared what connection means to them in the areas of academics, arts, activities, athletics, and also leadership development. And Dr. Ainsworth is going to share those clips with you guys in her Friday communication so you can hear from the students themselves and the testimonials that they shared with us. Also, during our breaks, we got to visit a time machine by our very own Carroll. She shared with us the history about education in our community. Everyone enjoyed the opportunity to be able to participate in that, as well as some Connect Carnival games where the competitive spirit of every single cluster came out. You may have seen some of the pictures as you entered today. And just in general, we appreciate what you all have done to support us as we've started all of our kickoff activities. Through your presence, your prayers, your support, it means the world to us. Now I would like for you all to be able to hear from a new leader, Dr. Sean Chanella, who will be the principal at Temple Middle School, about his experience as a first-time participant in Leadership Kickoff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. How y'all doing?
Good.
All right. So I'm a new leader here in Carroll County. I'll be the principal at Temple Middle School next year, and I'm extremely excited and honored to have that opportunity. While I'm new to Carroll County Schools family, I'm not new to leadership. This will be my 8th year in educational leadership, and I've attended a lot of kickoffs and beginning of school events. And if you ask any school administrator what the weeks leading up to opening school sounds like and feels like, it's usually organized chaos. My past 7 years, I've always left the annual kickoff feeling a very specific way, completely overwhelmed. I usually walk out of that meeting with an avalanche of things to do and compliance lists, lingering questions of how on earth are we going to get all this done before teachers walk in the building in a couple of weeks. This year was different though. My experience in Carroll County was unlike anything that I've ever experienced as a leader. What stood out to me the most was the incredible attention to detail and the deliberate focus of serving others. You could feel from the very moment you walked in the doors, everything was meticulously thought out to make you feel valued, from the welcoming environment to the entrance, to the specific snacks waiting on us at our cluster tables, to the caliber of the presenters. The speakers didn't just deliver messages, they beautifully demonstrated how providing exceptional, intentional service is the ultimate way to build a connection with others. Experiencing that level of care firsthand completely shifted the tone of the week for me. It showed us exactly what it means to lead into a servant's heart and set a standard that I knew we had to bring back to our own campus. For the very first time in my career, I didn't leave leadership kickoff feeling buried. Instead, I left refreshed, energized, and genuinely ready to tackle the school year. Our district leadership team set out with a clear, intentional mission. They wanted us to connect, to collaborate, and to focus on the true priorities for the upcoming year. They accomplished exactly that, and it's easy for a school district to talk about culture, but it's another thing entirely when they build it into the schedule. They created a space for us to truly collaborate, treating us not as managers of tasks, but as leaders of people. I left kickoff with a much deeper understanding of what they really mean by the word connect. At Temple Middle School, we are taking that spark and running with it. Immediately following kickoff, our leadership team sat down to define what connect meant to us. We don't want it to be just a banner, but we want it to be the heartbeat of our building. Because of the intentional model set by our district leadership, Temple Middle School is dedicated to ensuring these 3 things. Every single student will walk through our doors and feel a deep, authentic connection to their school, their peers, and their teachers. Our staff members feel genuinely valued, supported, and connected to our shared vision every day. At Temple Middle remains firmly and purposefully connected to families, the businesses, and the community that we serve. I want to thank our district leadership for their incredible vision, and thank you, the board, for your continuous support of our professional growth. You didn't just give us a standard kickoff this year. You gave us clarity, the space, and the momentum we need to make this an extraordinary year for our kids. We are focused, we are energized, and at Temple Middle, we will always roar as one. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions, any comments from the board? I gotta tell you, when I got to the kickoff, I felt like I forgot my ticket. I thought it was at some theme park or something. I needed something for admission. It was so overwhelming when I got there. It was, everything straight from coming in the parking lot and then the carnival. And then when I got into the tables, you could tell everybody, because y'all had already been there one day.
Correct.
You could tell everybody was really excited. And I was at the Villarica High School table and they were talking about the Magnificent Seven and everybody had all their stuff. And then after all the speakers I heard about, because I couldn't stay, I just heard so many comments, different people calling me from different parts of the county talking about how tremendous it was. So hearing from you is great because it comes from a different perspective. And let me say this, we're excited about you being at Temple Middle as well.
I'm excited.
Great job by everybody to put on a great event.
And I'm excited to have you at Temple Middle.
Yes,
We
ma'am.
met already, and he's going to do a great job and fall in love with Temple.
Oh, yes. Thank
If
you.
you haven't already.
Oh, I have. Temple is a special place in my heart.
All right.
Well, as we conclude the leadership kickoff update, just want to thank Charity Aaron again for your collaboration, your support, and how you coordinated it. Delene for giving us the vision for this year, and the entire cabinet, how everyone worked together to execute a fantastic 2 days for us to start this school year. Great job.
Good job.
The next item under stakeholder engagement is the superintendent transition. This is an update I'll provide you guys from now until October, just so you can see how the transition is going. In eBoard, you have access to the external entry plan. It's a 150-day entry plan where I had 2 months of overlap with Mr. Cowart of May and June, and my official start date was July the 1st. You also have access to my self-assessment. There is a slide deck available for you in eBoard. Again, that's a self-assessment of how I'm doing with my entry plan. I'll continue to update you guys each month so you can see how I'm doing around those 4 goal areas. As well as each Friday in my update to you guys, you have access to the internal entry plan where you can see my progress as well as the entire cabinet's progress on the transition. Yeah, again, I want to thank the cabinet. Who knew how many banks that we need to transfer from one superintendent to the next? Delene and her entire team, Glenn coming to the role of associate superintendent, Jennifer taking the reins of teaching and learning, and Jared making sure that we are prepared in all of our allotments for the year, and Charity in your work around communication and engagement. The transition has not gone successfully just because of me. It's the entire cabinet here today and everything that they have done to ensure a smooth transition, and just want to make sure I thank each one of them. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions about the transition.
Questions? We all know you guys have been busy, and I will tell you that from my fellow board members, we talk a lot about margin, and everybody's asked me, said, are they sleeping up there at all? And there's, talking about the balance, because we know all of you have been hard at work, and we really do appreciate that. And it shows, obviously, with the stuff that we just experienced with the kickoff. And, we got other great events coming forth, so it's much appreciated.
That concludes our stakeholder engagement.
All right, great. Well, with that, we will transfer to Mr. Glenn Harding for organizational excellence.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to give a quick update on Mountain Zion Middle School, Temple Middle School, and Blanton Hines Elementary School. Starting out with Mountain Zion Middle School, I tell you what, it's coming together. It's starting to look like a school out there. Very excited when I'm walking around. Also spent some time talking to David Brooks about it and just listening to him and the staff, just overjoyed with what they're getting for their students and their staff. But again, it's nearing completion. The pavement's underway out front. The fire marshal inspection is actually this Thursday. That'll be for the 100%. And the one little thing that we're somewhat worried about, there's a couple of kitchen items that are going to be last minute things. However, if for some reason those things were not completed, we have a plan with school nutrition and David Brooks for that first week if we were to need that. So they're very hopeful that we don't need it, but it is there if we need it. Temple Middle School, really the same thing, extremely excited. You know, talking to Dr. Beers and now Dr. Chanella, you know, just an excitement there as well. Everything's looking really good. I think we have the Thursday is actually the fire marshal is coming there as well for the 100%. And let's see, all the millwork is started inside the classrooms, and we think it's on schedule for opening school with no issues at all at this moment. As far as Blanton Heinzman, I don't know if anyone on the board has been out there recently, but the wing that was there is now no longer.
Wow.
They are on site and they're grading that out to start the new 2-story addition. This week, the playground's already been cleared. We'll start this week moving the playground equipment over and doing that to get ready for the kids to come back. That was one of the things that the school just, and understandably, let's make sure that gets done this summer, where those kids have a place to go out and for recess. So that should be on task for opening school. And that is our report on these 3 current projects. I would entertain any questions the board may have.
Any questions on the projects? Good work there.
Thank you. Moving right along to field trips and fundraisers. Those are attached to e-board, and we ask for those to be put on the consent agenda for Thursday night.
Any questions or concerns about those being put on the consent agenda? Okay, very good.
Mr. Chair, the last thing I have is really just an informational update. Because of House Bill 268, there was a couple of things in our regulations that we needed to add to. The 2 things. One, and it's also posted in e-board, but we made one change to add when there's a threat that's made by a student. The law calls for a mandatory parent meeting, so we added that to our language. That was already being done, but we wanted to make sure that it was in our language.
Okay.
And then the second one, part of that, if you want to say it, was basically just about behavior, code of conduct on the threatening, intimidating of others. There was just some additional language and range of discipline that needed to be cleared up, where it could be more or less, really less discipline if it needed to be. It gave the administrators the ability to do that.
Good deal. Any questions? Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Thank you for that report, Mr. Harney. Very good. Now we'll go over to our financial with Ms. Deline Wolf.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. This evening, I have the financial report for the month of May. This includes all 3 funds that make up the district's total budget. This month, in the capital projects fund, the inflows or revenues include the bond proceeds from the bonds that closed in May. Additionally, we will have our first expenditure report for the SPLOST 7, as those bond proceeds are being invested into facilities. On page 2 of the report for the general fund, revenues totaled $15.3 million, expenditures totaled $17 million. Fund balance is $48.9 million after adjustments, and with $1.1 million in outstanding encumbrances. For SPLOST 6, collections totaled $2 million, which is a 2.9% increase over the same month last year. Expenditures totaled, 2.8 million, with a balance of 5.7 million for the scheduled projects. For SPLOST 7, after the net proceeds and closing costs from issuing the bonds, the total project expenditures were 736.2 thousand, and the balance for the projects is 52.7 million. And lastly, we have our report of school activities for the January through March calendar quarter. I'd be happy to answer any questions on the financial report.
Any questions?
Ms. Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
can you give us the number for the tax digest?
Yes, that's the next update, Dr. Brooks.
Okay.
Okay, any other questions on this financial report? If not, we'll continue forward to get to that. I think we're good.
For an update on the tax digest, we received the preliminary digest from the county. Attached to the e-board is a copy of the calculations, the rollback rate calculation. Beginning with the summary, compared to last year's digest for 2025, the net digest totals 4.2 billion. This is a change of 148.5 million. Of this change, it was split almost in half for how much was from reassessment or inflationary increases versus how much of the growth was from other changes, with 47% reassessment, 69.6 million. Most of that was in commercial and industrial. Then 53% or 78.9 million from other changes such as new construction or improvement to properties. New information that we've received since the board advance is that the Senate Bill 33 with the new cap on homestead property increases, that will be effective next year. The rollback rate calculation is 15.809 mils, and that is compared to the current millage rate of 16.077 mils, so 1.70% change. Overall, the value of a mill increased to 4.2 million. This is the gross value before there are any appeals to the digest, the portion for the Miller Gatad, as well as the collection fee that's charged by the county. In comparing both the rollback rate and the current millage rate, both of these rates would be a small increase to the district's general fund budget, with the rollback rate would be a 0.75% increase to the general fund revenue budget, or 1.6 million. With the current millage rate, that would be a 1.25% increase at 2.7 million. The difference for the average Carroll County taxpayer between the current millage rate and the rollback rate for a non-homestead property valued at $250,000, the annual difference is $26.80. For the average homestead property valued at $350,000, the impact is $36.45 annually. Also included in e-board are example advertisements, including the 5-year digest, as well as the advertisement that would be required if a rate greater than the rollback rate is adopted as the tentative rate. As part of the district's conservative budget methodology, there is an ongoing document identifying items for budget consideration that is reviewed throughout the budget process. This document is also included in eBoard. It's divided into recurring and non-recurring items. Each of these sections are divided by a line to distinguish what has already been built into the adopted budget, as well as those items that were not included in the adopted budget. The district's highest priority item that has not been included in the FY27 budget would be an increase for both certified and classified personnel. To increase the local supplement for certified employees would be approximately $1,150,000. A 1% raise for classified employees would be $245,000. At the below those numbers are what would be required, for example, to increase the local supplement by 2%, or to increase the classified raise by 2%. At the current millage rate, that would allow for a 2% increase in the local supplement or a 2% overall raise. Or at the rollback rate, that would allow for a 1% increase in the local supplement and a 2% raise for classified employees. Now the timeline for the budget, for the millage rate process is today, as a business item, the board is scheduled for discussion and possible action to tentatively adopt a millage rate. That then allows the district to move forward with the required advertisements. Additionally, the board will need to finalize the date, time and place that the final millage rate would be set. This would allow the district to then make the required advertisements. The 5-year history is required to be advertised regardless of where the millage rate, the tentative millage rate falls. If the tentative millage rate is greater than the rollback rate, there are additional advertisements required, including a notice of property tax increase and a press release for a property tax increase, as well as 3 public hearings. The last step is for the board to adopt the final millage rate. I would be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
So, board members, at this point, does anybody have any questions? Go ahead,
I
Brian.
have one on the summary, just to be sure. I think this could potentially be a typo, or I'm reading it wrong. One on the original summary, I think it was you had pulled up, where you discussed the gross excludes impact of appeals. You see that line there? Does the mill value increase of 148,000 mean that it's 2.5 billion instead of million there, or is that relating a different way?
Okay, so overall, the digest change is a 148.5 million. The value of one single mill changed by 148.5 thousand.
Okay.
So basically, it's that one number divided by 1,000.
Okay, and then that line there would equate to 4.2 million or 4.2 billion.
So I think,
You see what I'm asking?
I think what that means is that's the total amount of the property value. That's what the digest represents. So it would be billion, right? Or
So for the digest as a whole, the total net digest is 4.2 billion.
Correct.
The revenue that is, the potential revenue is 1/1000th of
Got it.
that,
So
at
that's what-
1.2 million.
Answered, perfect, I got you. Okay, thanks.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
a question about the TAD. Do you get reports or do we have the information about how much tax we've collected? I know we locked it in at a certain amount, and then, so we have an idea of how much money above that Villa Rica has gotten in proceeds that would have come to us normally?
Yes, we do receive a report of that from the county, and then the city of Villa Rica sends us annually the portion that is due to the district.
I'd like to get a copy of that just to see.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, I agree. It's a good point.
Because that money's going to pay back the bonds that they issued.
For that road.
Yeah.
Could I ask a question?
You sure can.
Okay, I've got it. For, the Villa Rica TAD, are you using their physical year, or are you using the year that they complete their annual? I know the annual for Villa Rica is September. Which of those would you use?
We use the information from the Carroll County Tax Assessors and Tax
Okay.
Commissioner's Office. So we receive a report from the tax commissioner that gives us the value of the properties that are within the TAD.
Oh, okay.
Good question. So any other questions at this point? I think after that, I think it's our job to discuss this and to adopt a tentative millage rate. Is that the next step?
That's correct.
So I think now it's time for us to kind of discuss what's been shared with us. And so from my standpoint, the way I understood it, let me see if this is right. At the rollback rate, we would still be able to increase our budget, 1.6 million. And those two highlighted areas that were pointed out, we can add to the budget that were in consideration, which the major portions were the increases in the pay of the 1% and then the 2%. At the rollback.
Say that again.
Because the digest was didn't go up a lot, we could do the rollback and still increase our budget, what we had presented earlier, by 1.6 million, which would allow us to increase the local supplement by 1% to get us to 14%. And I wanted to go back and say, you know, Dr. Ainsworth provided, and Mr. Griffiths, the comparisons with the other districts around us, and that would get us to 14% in a better position there. And then the other would make sure that all our other employees got a 2% increase.
Okay.
And it wouldn't impact our budget. We would still be able to do a balanced budget with that because of that increase with the rollback.
So by rolling that back, would next year be a yo-yo effect when the caps go into place for the, you know, how the appraised values can only go up by the rate of inflation? Is that sooner or later going to force us to potentially raise our millage rate back up?
Well, each year, the board would have the opportunity to look at what that current year's digest value is, how much growth happened from new development that year, as well as any inflationary growth. At this point, the numbers for inflation look relatively, they're much smaller than they were several years ago. So the smaller the inflation is, the lower the impact that the district would see. But each year, the board would have the opportunity to look at that information and make the decision for that year's millage rate.
You're sort of asking if there's a forecast already. Isn't that sort of what you're thinking? Am I reading that right? You're sort of wondering, has anybody seen or can we anticipate the impact of what we may do?
Yeah, because we're not able to opt out like we voted on.
Right.
The law came back and changed and said, you're gonna go by this method.
Yeah.
And if they cap that assessment at 3% versus the 10 or 20 they've been hitting people with, that's gonna reduce, in my simple mind, that's gonna reduce the amount of available funds unless we raise the millage rate to overcome that.
That would be the only lever we would have, would be the millage,
So
right?
just thinking in the future, is there gonna be if we lower it now, we're gonna be right back yo-yoing it back up next year?
Yeah, is
Mom's got
there,
a question too.
yeah, do we know that impact if we
I don't
do?
think we do.
That would be, it would not be possible to say with certainty what that impact would be. There is still, we're still pending some interpretation on whether that new cap would apply to the prior year. So for example, if it's effective in 2027, does that compare to 2026? Or does it go back to the year that the original law was put into place? And we haven't received an answer for that interpretation yet. So that's one area of uncertainty. Beyond that is the direction of inflation, the amount of growth that's occurring locally. All of those things, are uncertain at this point. But if I had to, just estimate what the most likely scenario would be, I would estimate that the real growth from improvements and new construction would offset the decrease from a new exemption.
I'm a little more pessimistic than that, because I see a lot of houses being built that are not being sold. But maybe I'm wrong. But I guess, the other option would be to cut services if you got down to that point, to lower the budget. Just thinking out loud.
We've been there, haven't we?
So I think one of the things from talking through, would this statement be true? From talking to you, Ms. Wolf, were you, with the digest this year, with us being able to roll back, were you somewhat surprised that we were able to do that and still get this 1.6? I think this year we came out good, better than you thought, possibly.
This year we had, we always follow a conservative budget methodology. This year, with the degree of uncertainty, and also based on the feedback that you as a board provided at our advance last fall, that the priority that the board be in a position to be able to make a conservative decision. So there are multiple factors there. I think the element that was probably more the surprise was Senate Bill 33 being effective next year. That was probably the element that was a surprise.
To add to what Delene is saying, she's also starting to forecast our FY28 budget. And as a cabinet, we're beginning to look at expenses for the next fiscal year. That allows us to follow our budget process, so at the December board advance, we can present, similar to e-board, what you saw for this fiscal year, and that will better inform you guys in December of where we're forecasting for the next fiscal year.
Okay.
Any other questions? Yes.
Just a comfort level, I'd like to ask Dr. Ainsworth, I know you've been seeing and running alongside, Mr. Coward the last year and running parallel. So I think it helps me a little bit to know what is your insight, what are your thoughts, what is your, sort of temperature gauge as to what you've seen, and offer an opinion as to, what's before the board, sort of get a temperature gauge from you.
And think back to as Mr. Cowart and I were studying the budget and presenting the budget to you guys for this fiscal year, FY27, we were at a point where we weren't quite ready to present to you guys that local supplement change, because that was a reoccurring expense. Think back to, we have those reoccurring expenses and then we have just that one-time expense. At that time, we made a recommendation to the board to place that as a budget consideration item, knowing that if the budget came in a positive manner, that's where we would go first. As we think about forecasting in FY '28, Mr. Carroll and I did have those discussions, and he felt comfortable in saying to me that if the budget did come in more positive, that this is a reoccurring expense that the district could hold true to in previous or fiscal years in the future. So I'm confident to say to the board, with the lean and the amount of time that we've studied, as well as learning from him in my transition, to make a recommendation to take the rollback rate with the, going to the budget consideration item of increasing the local supplement from 13 to 14. As a Board of Education, you guys have challenged us with how can we be more competitive while keeping a low millage rate. And also will support our certified staff and give them a little bit of an increase. We've had increases in our state health benefit, and that truly impacts our classified staff the most. So I feel very comfortable making that recommendation, working alongside as we have the superintendent transition, as well as the confidence I have in Ms. Wolf as our CFO.
Thanks for
Just
that.
have a comment. I've done a lot of study on this. I've talked to a lot of people, and I hang out with a lot of other school systems in the business I'm in. I do. Competition is heavy. I mean, even in other businesses, when you lose an employee that you have trained and knows how to work in your business, they go somewhere else. It hurts, and it takes time. It costs money to retrain people to do things the way Carroll County Schools does it. We do it a great way. So I'm pretty confident that if we do the rollback rate next year, the same question you had was the first question I had for it. So I was concerned about that too. But I'm pretty confident after hearing other school systems talking that this is what we need to do.
Okay. Any other questions before we move on?
I do have one question. All right. We're going to set a proposed millage rate here, but we're not going to do it until Thursday, the other decisions. Is that correct? Or is that tonight?
We're going to do the business item later tonight.
Okay, we are going to do that. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Very good. Great report and great questions. Anything else for Ms. Wolf? If not, then we're going to go to continuous improvement, Mr. Jerry Griffiths.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Good evening, Board. The Human Resources Department is finalizing preparations for TIP this week. That's our teacher induction program. The board is invited to attend on Thursday to be introduced to our new teachers, our new employees, and to have lunch with these employees. Please arrive by 11:15 at the PAC auditorium. We will make introductions, give Mr. Miller a few minutes to speak to our new employees, and then you'll have the opportunity to eat lunch with your clusters. I've placed a tip schedule for each of you at your seats tonight so you can see what all we have planned for our new employees this week. And we hope you can join us Thursday. I also want to share an update about our current vacancies in the district. We have 2 certified vacancies at the moment. Last year we had 11, so we're in a good position. I have word from the principal with those 2 positions that they should be filled by Thursday night. So hopefully we can get them approved this week and have these teachers at TIP. The next 3 agenda items are revisions of board policies, which have language in them that do not align with our strategic waivers. These 3 policies are GAA, equal opportunity employment, GAKA, reduction in force, and GAMA, drug-free workplace. The recommended revisions to the existing policies are in the red font. The draft policies are attached for the board's consideration. We recommend these 3 policies lie on the table until the August work session scheduled for August 17th for the purposes of collecting public input. This concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Griffiths. Any questions from Mr. Griffiths on his report? Any issues with putting these three items and letting them lay on the table till next month? Hearing none, we'll consider that done. We'll move on now to public input. Do we have anybody here to address us tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to our business items. And the one business item is for discussion and possible action to tentatively adopt the 2026 millage rate. So I'll open that up for discussion now.
I'll make a motion, we tentatively adopt the 2026 millage rate,
At the
15.8, whatever it was.
at the full rollback.
Yeah, at the rollback
We'll
rate.
make a second.
We have a motion and a second. So now we'll back up. Is there any discussion on this adoption? Now, again, this will be a tentative adoption, and I think there'll be more explanation about the final, because we got to do one more step. Is that right?
Yeah, we'll have one more meeting in which Ms. was shared in her update tentatively on the 31st, if I'm not mistaken. We'll see if we can have a quorum that afternoon, and that will be the final adoption of the rollback rate. That's
And
what
when
we
will
choose.
that be? Will it be this?
July 31st.
July 31st.
That would allow us to adopt this before the county commissioners meet, so they do have to ratify everything, I believe. So we got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor of this motion, please raise your right hand. And that's everyone. Thank you very much. Now we'll ask to review the agenda for the July 23rd, 2026 board meeting. Any discussion on that? Hearing no discussion, we'll move to the next step, which is I'll make a recommendation to the board meet in executive session to discuss the future acquisition of real estate, safety, and security personnel pending or threat litigation, and recommendations that are exempt from disclosure under the Open Records Act.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion? Second, all in favor, raise your right hand. And we will do, that's everyone, so we'll consider ourselves in executive session, and we'll ease back to the back. We adjourn executive session to enter back into regular session.
I'll make that motion.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, please raise your right hand. And if I could, I'd ask for a recommendation that the board approve the personnel actions as presented by the superintendent.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. That's everyone. And that'll bring us to board member comments.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that the Carroll County Board of Education approve the sale of 2 acres of the parcel 01-00065 at 205 Centennial Drive to 813 LLC for $500,000 plus closing costs, and authorize the superintendent to execute all documents necessary to complete the transaction.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Wait, I
I
thought
do
we
have a
were
question.
splitting that.
You know what? That was,
Should
should be, okay, let me
Make a
amend.
friendly amendment on that.
Yeah, is it okay to?
Split the closing, yeah.
To split, make an amendment to split the closing cost with the purchasing agent, which is 813 LLC, and submit the documents.
Great job. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, raise your right hand. Any other business to come before the board?
Before we close tonight, can we see if we can have a quorum on July 31st at noon? to
That's a
adopt-
Friday?
Yes, to adopt the final millage rate. while we-
July 31st, at what time?
At noon.
I think y'all gonna be here.
Depends on if you're gonna be here.
I might not be, but I'm not. I can be if I have to be.
I should be available.
I'll be available. Yeah,
I should too, as long as there's nothing.
Mine is iffy.
I'll have to look.
So we got Bart, Tom, myself, Luana.
Let's see what's on.
And you guys could call in if needed.
Yeah, I could call in.
I think we're
I don't
good.
have anything on that. I'm good for that day.
Okay.
I'll let you know. Okay.
With that being said, I'll open up for any board member comments this evening. Okay, going once. I'll make a motion for adjournment. I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
I'll see.
All in favor, raise your right hand, and we'll consider ourselves adjourned. Have a great evening. Now, Thursday night, we're back.